That's why it's called One Piece. Brandon's already been done with the motherfucker and watched it like 5 times. And then showed his mom and sisters and everybody, and then he watched it like 5 more times with them. I mean, they're still coming out with One Piece, but
Yeah.
it's just after that whole island shit, it just became bullshit.
Alright guys, for this raid, we've got some clan that's trying to be cocky here, leaving all their C4 and M2s, I guess it's the F clan, leaving all their M2s, sulfur, 500,000 sulfur, 240 C4s in that vending machine, 30 AKs, and another 30 AKs. Trying to be cocky here. Now I saw these guys running around in their concon, but I haven't seen any movement for like at least the past 10 minutes. Hoping that they've gone offline and we can try to raid this thing. But it shouldn't be too difficult of a raid if the loot's there in the center. We'll drill straight down. I think that's 3 ceilings to the floor, unless they have half walls. We just have to watch out for that flanking tower, and I guess let's give it a shot. Alright, find the center here. Looks good enough.
What'd you throw? Oh, never mind. After you throw away stuff or something.
No.
No half floors? And another hundred cylinder?
In my head, why my TV so loud? Oh yeah, we watched Harry Potter last
Yeah,
night.
those are boxes of coffins. Let's go straight to the foundation. Oh, we're kind of stuck here. Hold up.
That ain't fair.
What?
Give money, baby monies, that way she can go win all the monies and then pay me all the monies back.
You only gave me $20.
I only used 20.
There's nothing in those boxes.
Granted, that 20 didn't go far.
There's the vending machines. Let's go.
Did you see how I played the game?
You're actually going to be 200 C4 in here.
You put 20, then you kept putting more $20 in.
Oh, crap.
No,
They're probably going to be
I
back
seen you put in like 4 slips.
Holy frick, dude.
Yeah, each one of them was $5.
What is that, like almost 200 C4 plus all that?
I went up to, like, all them pods I had, I went up to a random dollar machine, put it in there. Okay. Next.
They must be gone.
Went straight down the line.
Holy crap, look at all this HGs.
I spent $20 and then I'm done.
We're going to get right out of here with that. I'm not waiting around for them to come back here.
I don't know why, it's just something said that bowl is almost full. You need to push a button a couple times.
No action whatsoever. We're going to have to make another trip back here. Hold up. Let's get this into the right base.
I was hoping baby would hit like 3
Okay, now just coming back from the
jackpots.
second trip, I brought more
No,
leverage.
I was giving Dad all the luck apparently because he pushed the button. He had 8 free spins, then he got 16 free spins, then he got another 8 free spins. While you was getting all the money, he was getting free games.
We haven't checked. Luckily, garages are all left.
That's what Dad wants. It's weird. Dad don't even want the money. He just wants the free game. Like Mom, normally she don't play any machine that don't give you free games. Meanwhile, I go over to the dollar machine. Dollar here, dollar here.
Okay, we need the M2s for sure.
Last time I went, I put like $5 in like 10 different machines and just went down to the line. Just click, and walked back. Click. I mean, I lost a lot of money doing that, but hey, it was
that
fun.
looks good. What else we got? 130 tie trash of fitting components.
Now, when
Tons of
George
HV
was just, I don't know, he didn't like the way I
Alright,
play.
this might be our final trip.
Like I
here,
said, I
other
showed
than
him
HVs
what I just
and
told you
Pontus
about.
over
Was
leaving.
this machine. Just a whole line of machines. Just put money in each one. Just walk down the line. Push the button. And like that. They're like, but you don't get to see the things explode and the pigs and all that shit. I'm like, there ain't no pigs on this. This is bar, cherry, and 7.
That's what I was on when I first started. Then I ventured over to where mom and dad was, and I went to the bathroom.
What's the point of that? It's simple. You get a bar, you get money. You get a 7, you get money. You get a cherry, you get quite a bit of money.
Right.
One time I hit all 7s. Then dad called.
Come on, let's go.
You winning? Yeah.
Second trip, I don't think
No, I'm not.
Like a third trip. Seems like they're coming online, or at least coming back.
Dad does that on purpose.
But good news, we got all the sulfur seaboard rockets out of there. Boys, let's go. Tried to change the vending machine message.
I think it was Mom's fault. So I told Mom I was winning a lot of money
Still
and
kind of
shit.
shaking from
All of a sudden, Dad calls.
You're
winning? Not anymore. Okay, that's all I want.
Rockets. Let's just start blasting through some bases and see if we can get.
Sounds like you.
I didn't even say bye. He just hung up on me.
Welcome to my life. You just hang up, go click. You can't be mad for that hanging up on you.
Bullshit, I say love you, bye, click.
No, not all the time. But I love you.
Get over it. Love you more.
Arbor door and the sports window bars there. If you've got anything on its body.
You know, we put out a whole blunt last night.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have it no more, but we put out a whole blunt last night.
Alright.
Gotta be, you was out playing the game.
Yeah, that was fun. Someone came, tried to go to raid base, I came out, shot him a couple times, and ran away.
Pathway there. This could be the cheapest way.
Got all super mad, said I was hacking and shit.
And how it's armored. It's getting pretty expensive. Armored doors, bags. Okay, let's set rockets down here. Nether sleepers, like at least a 4-man clan. There's PC already. And 20 C4, let's go, dude. 27 rockets, still on that lucky streak here, getting jackpot after jackpot. Let's go. What else we got? Something to check that DC. We're probably gonna have to take out this sheet up.
That blunt was from when we was playing Smite.
No, it was different.
You sure?
Yeah, because we smoked the one that playing Smite. The one that was all super clogged up with the kick, that's the one I put in there. Because we kept running. And it would like, you hit it once and it'd go from like up here all the way down here.
Yeah, you wrote that one. Yeah, I remember when you wrote that one and you said you put it out. Because it was fucking up.
Yeah, and then I wrote the one first before we was playing Smite. around the fog, you dummy. How you gonna rock it on the inside of a house and blow up your own door? I do not expect that.
Hey, Mittens.
Well, there's a run over there growling at her.
No, that was Puff.
No. The puff wasn't growling. The puff's drinking water. There's a run.
Probably because Puff's behind him.
What's the movie about? It's about this guy who finds out he wrecks his back, and then they get him. One movie filmmaking by making connects. I'm a big level up your knowledge. Use the link in the description below to get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. Just by the link to your attention device, already on to your wallet stuff. Once I noticed what happened now, his name is Kepler, and he is the biggest mountain in the universe. Speaking of that, Sarah, what airline, let's say, Seattle? The Carolina wearing red, but it should be LG. I'd rather not play it than the Buffalo. Here's what button. You don't play this, you're not invited to World Edition. To a local church. As you approach the front door.
Oh no, it's that bell! That's that little puppet thing.
I know.
That's the thing off of that bell.
I know. I watched that spell.
He's like, come!
No need to worry, sir. My name is T. Now, how many abominations are we talking? At least 9. Oh, thank you. It's really hard. Yeah, whatever. It's like, as you open the front door to the church, you can read my 17. 13. When you step inside, the body of a nun is running across the way. Whoa! What? You got like alligator damage to down out of the back, Sarah. Take 14 bloods and fingers, then you are now from. Roll initiative. Sarah, do so with a -5 penalty. 16. 18.
7.
Alright, what did you get?
Oh, nothing. I just dropped my paladin levels for levels of black.
I forgot about black cards. So, is that bad for us? We'll see.
7. What'd you do?
You may receive a comment.
Oh, thanks for your permission. Lance, you're up first. Okay. So how far away is the closest depth? 20 feet? Right on. I'm going to approach and attack it twice. Smite evil,
Here's the
for
puppet
first
tree.
attack, and just a regular
You don't like
attack.
them.
You want the other tree?
No, I don't.
Beam
I only have those.
Oh, that's behind you.
38 damage total. The devil shrieks as you shove your short sword.
The other day I was wanting to give her a treat, but I didn't have the ones like. I went up.
Throws a chain out there.
Yeah, they were over here. I gave them.
You gotta throw it up and stand up first. Paladin,
Didn't I get one?
sent to the devil in judgment. He is separated on his head. Stealing her protection against evil and so on.
I know Shy has the same bag downstairs,
Good.
but that's from when her and me went on.
Your AC is 15, right? Technically it's 17. Yeah, protection against evil. Never mind. What are you doing?
I'm going to ready and actually kill these two to make the best.
What? That should be a surprise, I guess. Alright, let's do this. The two of you, while buddy and Stevens, have managed to defeat 4 of the 5 chain guys. The last one is laying a problem in front of you. Well, would you like to do the honors? Can we go through the drum?
how you two are. I'll allow it. Today is your last day.
Oh, no, that's what I was going to say to you.
God, please. I could you drive your blade into the King Devil's head. He is vanquished. Now I guess we have to do this.
We don't have to roll it out if we don't want to. I already ran the numbers, and it's mathematically impossible.
Good enough for me. Well, at least Rangers won't be this ridiculous. Right? Wayland?
I never know what to do with my heart. I feel like all the guys just feel like this and like chill and
If you're not lawful good, you lose all your class abilities.
uh-oh. Same.
Oh, yeah. That's nice. Do so with a -5 penalty. Right on. I was moving my dice when I started the line. Okay. All right. Oh, it's bright in here, and I have the glasses. How close am I to this? Waylon, you're the first to see the panicked creep rushing at you. What did I say? Like with a panicked freak. Shout out to St. Cuthbert. Yeah, I'm definitely checking. How close am I to the devil that Chuck the
Okay, they did that. I wonder if they did the steering stuff.
How's it? Welcome to another episode of Game Nights.
This episode is brought to you and sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. And another big shout out to our sponsor, cardkingdom.com/commando. That's the affiliate link that you should use next time you're buying Magic products and singles. And hey, check it out. What is this?
Masters 25. In fact, Jimmy and I are both playing decks based on legendary creatures from this set. Again, use that affiliate link when you order all your Magic products and singles. You're really supporting Game Nights.
cardkingdom.com/commando. And another way to support the show is Patreon at patreon.com/commando. That's
Hey.
where you can directly support the show.
Why are you sniffing a
Keep the
snag
lights on
joint?
this place running. And of course, at the end of this episode, there
I can
is
still
one more
see you under
special
the
thing.
chair.
That's right, prize giveaways from us to you.
Oh, let him do that and jump up on the
Alright,
doors
on
and
the
shit.
No, the door's closed, but she was just sniffing it.
I know. I'm trying to leave it open more often.
Why?
Wait,
Cats? For the mice?
I'm seeing, because whenever I clean them out, there was,
What's
it's
up,
like they
everyone?
chewed
Welcome to a new
up
episode of
something
Game
in
Nights.
there.
Today we are
With
playing
the mouse?
Commander with
Yeah.
two of the biggest Magic
And I
shows
want to
out there.
know
Two players that
how.
are really known for limited play.
So I
They're
keep
gonna come
filling
in,
it
they're
up.
gonna mix it
They're
up in
going
a
to
game
chew
of
on the
games.
shit that's on top.
Hello,
If
friends.
they're
Ken
coming
G.
in
New Mountain
and
Amiga
just
Shooter.
dropping down
You might
into
know
it.
me from
If they're
my
coming in from the
stream,
bottom,
stream
though,
basically
they'll
they'll
every
chew
chew
day.
on
from the
it.
Recently
back.
qualified for the
Yes.
Pro Tour, the Magic Online
So,
Championship Series. So that's gonna be really
I'm
soon,
trying to
but,
figure out.
once
That could
I
be
get
why
over,
sniffing.
you know what?
Well, they've been
End of
sniffing
today.
over there.
I seen Puff in the dresser, along with Mittens, like in this dresser.
Oblivion Stone is so
And the way, at that time, I had everything pulled out, and I was cleaning up everything, and I had all the drawers open, and she went in the bottom drawer and came out the top drawer. So, I'm trying to figure out if, like, the mice are hiding in there or something.
Possible.
I usually feel okay about my turn too, but honestly it looks kind of embarrassing.
That's why I got
You're going to
goldfish, gummy snacks, shit like that, shit that
Got
they could.
crackers that fill
Yep.
Ground slides are great, but the problem is that if you're playing them on turn 2, you're going to have 8 cards in your hand per turn, so that means you have to feel bad.
Last turn you go.
I will play a blood crypt tap. I feel so far behind already. It's only turn 2.
No, it's okay. I'm really far behind you.
What? You're less far behind than me.
I didn't start the card.
Luckily, Kenny can cast a commander.
Mountain. Okay, live. I want to put a fate counter on my friend Dynamite end of turn. That way I can protect my board if I want to blow up the board with the Oblivion Stone instead of playing out new mod and kind of just blowing up lands, even though that's a great thing to do. I'll just pass the turn to Gabby though.
Sure. Untap. Drop them dead. I'll play a Coiling Oracle.
Ooh.
This is not a big deal to play in Telestone. I still get to draw a card out of it. Alright, so let's reveal. That's a nice one. This is kind of awkward because I don't really want to reveal Crater Behemoth to my opponent at this point, but I can't do anything about it.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a card.
I mean,
When you go out with Mark on Wednesday,
he's
he's taking you, right?
Because, boy, that card can end games.
Mark's picking you up, right, on Wednesday. I might take the card to the thing and have it fixed
Right now,
or
I
whatever.
think me, Gabby, and Josh just want to play cards out that aren't the most significant cards in our deck, or ones that we get a little value off of, so that when Kenji does blow up the
I'm going to call around for
we can't just sit here and do
dentist for you
I'll
tomorrow.
play Swamp.
Not tomorrow, Wednesday.
I'm
I'm going to look them up tomorrow. They
X equals
call
1, so Grenzo will get a plus one counter. It's a 3/3. You can tell that
Since
Gabby
I do have
and
your
I are all trying to
medical
protect
ID
against the Oblivion
thingy,
Stone. We don't want to
I
put
just
out anything
don't have the
high
physical
value.
card.
We want to put out something that's expendable.
I know,
And for me,
Every
that's my
time
thing.
I
And I will
called,
pass the turn.
I
At the end
wanted
of
the
your turn,
card.
I will activate.
Right? That's what I'm used to, because not most places will take your medical ID number. They'll want your card.
Alright, I'm going to play Sacred Foundry untapped.
Okay, first blood to yourself.
Don't you come over here meowing.
I'll play
I don't want you.
Blade of
Go
the
away.
Night.
What?
Don't meow.
And the hits
Go away.
just keep on coming. See, the problem here is if we play
Hey.
stuff to try and catch up
Come
with
on.
his board states, then he can set us all
Come
back to
on.
Stone Age with Oblivion Stone. But if we don't play
Come
stuff,
on.
then he's going to
Take
smack
it
us
forever.
with Gisela until we die.
If you want to win a game of Commander, this is a very easy way to do it, so we need to take care of this pronto.
After that very
Spoiled
unimpressive
cat.
turn, Gabby, I will
Go
pass it to you.
Okay, well then, I'll untap.
Yeah, that's what we're
I'll
doing.
draw. So I have a Coiling Oracle, and Jimmy's kind of the only person that can attack here, so why not? I guess I can only attack you, Jimmy, so...
Alright, I have no creatures, so I can't block. And because of Gisela, I'm going to actually take 2 damage.
Pow. First blood.
That's real first blood.
So Gisela's super scary, but I think I have a plan to deal with it, so I'm going to pass a turn and see what my opponents do. Pass to you, Jimmy.
Untap, draw.
Well, I do have one card that I can replay if it dies to Oblivion Stone, and that's my commander, so, well, I may as well run it out there now. And hey, Kenji's tapped out, there's a chance that maybe Josh can blow up the O-Stone while he doesn't have the mana to activate it, so fingers crossed.
And then I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3 and cast Animar, Soul of Elements. And then I will tap 1 and equip it with Swiftfoot Boots. Pass turn to you, Josh.
Okay, I will untap. Gabby, I'm going to swing at you for 3, which will actually be 6.
Gosh, Commander dip. Oh, yeah. Oh, crap.
Yeah, I guess I'll take it. Oh boy. It's like a non-zero amount of damage.
There's a non-zero amount of damage. I apologize, I can't attack Kenji. And I want Jimmy to keep hitting Kenji, so...
Can do.
This is what Gisela does. Now we're dealing double damage to each other. I'm not even sure if it was right to attack Gabby there because I actually need her help in stopping Kenji. And then I will tap 3, and I will play Burnished Heart.
Oh, that's a good card.
That's a cool card.
Yeah.
I still don't want to overextend into the Oblivion Stone. I'm going to play a creature that I can get some value out of in the case that he does activate. And then I will pass the turn to the most terrifying being on the planet.
What? Well, I think I'm going to start things off by attacking Jimmy for a lowly 5, which turns into 10. I'll take 10.
Oh, that hurts so bad. Why didn't choose me.
Protection from white scares me a lot, so I decided to, hit him in for just a 10 damage. It's a 5/5 flyer, but of course, Gisela doubling her own damage to Jimmy means I get hit him for 10, and that's that's a real nice swing. And then I'm gonna just start things off with Brago King Eternal.
I know I keep saying that everything he's doing is bad, but this is bad because he can flicker his own mana rocks and the O-Stone. They come back into play untapped, which means he can use them again, which means more fate counters. He's also poised to put a fate counter on Gisela now and protect that.
This is just getting worse and worse and worse. Why did we invite Kenji to game nights?
How many other ways can, what's a different way to say, it's bad? It's bad.
Alright, after those sick Bragos, I will pass turn to Gabby.
Okay, we gotta do something about Kenji.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling the higher turn. I'm gonna bounce her. Okay, so I'll bounce this all record. This is a little awkward. There's a chance I could bounce O-Stone and then hope that one of my other opponents has something to interact with it or counter it on the way down. I'm not sure if that's gonna work. It seems like Gisela's the biggest problem.
This at least slows Kenji down a little bit. Maybe also because Gisela is in Kenji's hands, they'll have incentive to blow up the O-Stone.
Well, blue decks are kind of rude, but all in all, it's actually kind of good because now if I blow up the O-Stone, my Gisela's not there to die.
Alright, I'm sad. I kind of hate that I have to do this to my face, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm gonna factor fiction. I unfortunately have to factor fiction main phase to try to make Valandra, and also hope that it finds some sort of answer to anything that Kenji is doing. The nice thing too is because this is kind of Kenji versus the world, I can hope that one of my, at this point, teammates gives me something to deal with. Alright, give me that stuff.
So I have to strike a delicate balance here, because I want to give Gabby enough tools to deal with Kenji, but I also don't want to give her so much that she's going to be ahead after the dust settles.
I'm going to separate the piles into this. The first pile is Island, Warren Power Stone, and Opportunity. The second pile is Bounding Crisis and Nimble Obstructionist. You're missing a real opportunity here if you don't take one of those piles.
So the Nimble Obstructionist pile looks nice. Nimble Obstructionist will counter the trigger from the Oblivion Stone, so it won't actually kill her things, but I really need a land. I'll take this one.
Gabby, why didn't you just tell me you needed a land? I would have put it in my pile. Oh, no. Communication is key, guys. Drop her. Still pretty good?
Yeah. I'll play my island, and I guess I'll take the one.
I won't block. I'll take this much.
Here we go, Dean.
I will untap and I will draw a turn.
Well, I can't not do anything, so I'm just going to go ahead and play the worst creature out of my hand.
I'll tap 4 mana and cast Vizier of the Menagerie. And I will trigger and get a +1/+1 counter. Alright, I'm going to go to combat and finish it. Coming in at you for 2 damage. I'm going to take 2 general damage, I guess. And I'll pass turn to you, Josh.
On your end step, I'm going to Vampire Tuner.
Oh, yes. This is good, Josh. Yes. This is exactly what you need to find right now, which is a destroy target Oblivion Stone. That's what you're looking for, right? Please tell me that's what you're looking for.
He has an answer to what Kenji is doing. It is right here, so I'm really hoping for this one.
So to untap, the card I choose for, I'm going to lose probably all my creatures anyway here, so it may as well get some damage in. I'm going to combat. You're the only one I can attack. I mean, I'm sorry. I'll attack for 5.
I'll block the Burnish Heart with Venser.
Okay, Venser and the Heart trade. And then take 3.
No, I am dying over here. 1, 2, 3.
Alright, the game can't progress until we get rid of this Oblivion Stone, so I'm just going to have to do it. And then I am going to play Vandal Blast Overloaded.
Yeah!
Surprise, surprise, Vandal Blast. Now, it's not just my artifacts that are getting blown up, of course, it's everybody's that's not Josh.
Yes!
Okay, alright, this is good. This is exactly what I wanted.
I lose it to make sure that, which is kind of unfortunate, especially because I'm land light, but Kenji's board is basically gone at this point, so...
In response, I'll activate Oblivion Stone and destroy each non-land permanent.
Goodbye.
I just decided to blow up the world in response with my Oblivion Stone. I think everybody's pretty happy about that for multiple reasons.
So this worked out pretty good. Now we can start a game where Kenji's not just like Mach 5 right out the gate.
The problem is that I only have 5 lands.
Kyoko.
I have one in my hand. I draw, and I will cast for Stick Study.
Let's see.
The board is clear. Everybody's going to just want to play random things anyway. They're probably
She's
not going
fluffy.
to pay 1 mana
She's
every
still in here,
single
too.
time. So plan A, well, tell them on like turn 5 failed. So plan B, escape. cranky.
She's sniffing a litter box, sniffing my shoe, loving my shoe.
Are you gonna pay for Rustic Study?
I will pay for
Why you loving my shoe?
How you like me now?
Kyoko!
It's not the worst. I'll draw some cards off Jimmy for sure.
Still loving my shoe.
6 mana to cast
Here's the
Kyoko!
thing about Animar decks. You need
Loving
to
my
have
shoe.
Animar on the battlefield for the deck to function. So even though I have to pay extra for the commander tax, it's well worth the cost.
She's in the heat.
I will pay for Rustic Study. This is okay.
You look so angry.
Eventually they're gonna be like, no, it's just
You
a
look
card.
so
I don't wanna pay
angry.
the one. It's too taxing. I'm gonna get some cards from Josh, guaranteed.
I'll pass on you. I will untap. We're going to play a Vidalcan Ori, paying the extra for Ristic Study. Both Jimmy and Gabby are paying for Ristic Study, so Kenji's not drawing any cards. And I think if we keep a united front about that, we can make sure that Kenji doesn't pull into a huge lead again. So I'm going to go ahead and keep paying for Ristic Study as long as they do.
Otherwise,
In
Vintage!
the first of Ristic Study history in Commander, I did
Kyoko.
draw some cards on a full turn rotation. I will play
Kyoko.
this lovely Tranquil Cove.
Where's my
I need some of that.
Come on.
How good this is, but I'm going to have to play and
She heard the bad shake.
targeting
She
Animar.
coming.
Ooh, that's actually really good, I think.
She knows that's food.
Men's is
I'm
leaving at the
thinking
top of the
this
set.
has
She
got
don't
to be
care.
a little bit good. My deck doesn't actually run
Puff.
that many creatures, but
It looked like
I have
Puff
some good
tried to
value
come in.
the
I heard
deck.
the
You know,
Puff
in this sense, it's
hit,
kind of
and
like a
Kyoko
mana box.
was
I just
like,
lost
oh my.
my Soul Ring and my Grand Dynamo. I kind of want to build up my mana base again. I will pass the turn again.
Puff is like, why you in my room?
I'll play a Thorn with Fall. Also gain a life.
Still forgot I was streaming.
3, 4. I'm going to cast Rush Me Eternity Structure.
I really want to be able
Push the
to
button.
trigger Rush Me on
I
my
know.
opponent's turn, so might as well get it in play
Stop
now,
it, tap
and then I
it,
can put it
push
up
it.
to the following turns I can start actually triggering Rush Me.
And I will pay the extra for Ristic Study. Go ahead.
Alright, step 7 mana. Play Soul of the Harvest, paying the extra. Animar will trigger and get a +1/+1 counter.
I've played against the Animar deck a lot. This is what you don't want to happen because creatures become so cheap to cast. You're casting them for free or almost free. And now when they draw you cards, they draw you more creatures, which you then cast for free or almost free, which then draws you more cards that you play for free or almost free, which then draws you more cards that you then play for free or almost free, which draws you more cards. You see why this is not good.
Pass that turn.
Okay, I'll untap, draw. I'll play a Bloodstained Mire.
What you want? You want a treat?
Oh, pass the turn.
Is that why you came in here?
Alright, untap. I'm going
You
to
had the bag
play my
from wherever the
plans,
fuck you was?
and I will play my namesake general, Numot the Devastator. It's a 6-power flyer in the air. I can blow up any 2 lands, which blowing up 2 lands with Numot is actually really impressive, especially in a game that's, you know, still pretty fresh. People have, you know, they're not sitting on 20 lands, 10 lands. And if I blow up some of their lands, they don't pay for Ristic Study. And I trigger my Animar. It's risky to attack Josh when he has that Ori. I'll just say, go.
Alright, at the end of your turn, God, you want the Devastator. What if I just like my lands though?
Well, if you let me attack you, I won't blow up your lands.
Oh, we're getting. I see.
So that sounds like, baby, well, if you let me attack you, you can have your land. What?
I will not succumb to this. I'm gonna play a spell from Maraska, bouncing Numot the Devastator back to your hand.
I don't have the City's Blessing. I don't get to bounce Numot to the top of the library, but I still get to bounce them, not have to take any damage, and I get to trigger Rush.
I'll reveal that top from my library. It is a Broodbird Viper. I cannot cast that, so it's gonna go into my hand.
Alright, I'll let Numot go back to my hand instead of the command zone.
Alright, let's untap, draw. I believe I'm just passing here. Go ahead.
Oh, what? I will untap and draw a card. And then I will tap 3 mana and cast a dwarf creature. Animar will trigger, it's going to become a 3/3. And then Soul of the Harvest will also trigger, and I'll draw a card. And I'm paying an extra for Ristic Study. This is the worst Ristic Study I've ever seen. I have not drawn a single card.
Well, this is a united front, you see.
Puff for me.
Alright, I'm going to now tap 2 mana, paying for Ristic Study, and play another more. Animar will trigger, and Soul of the Harvest will trigger. And
I thought I heard one of them over there by the trash can. I'm like, Puff for
go
me.
off here, and this is great because no one knows what these morphs are, and that gives me the advantage. Morphs are really interesting cards to play against because it gives a creature deck, which normally has to play at sorcery speed, a lot of surprise potential, a lot of flexibility, a lot of versatility. It's one of the reasons the deck is so cool.
Then I will pay 2 mana to play a Soul Ring.
Hey, you broke even on me.
Thank you, Ristic Study.
Hey, my board's looking pretty good. Now it's time to go settle some old scores. Kenji?
I'll go to combat, and Kenji, I'll come at you with a 6/6 Soul of the Harvest and a 4/4 Animar.
Found it.
Guess the tides have turned. I will be taking 10 instead. And it's 4 more, Jenny. Alright, I'm done though, by the way. You know, I'll go somewhere else now. Hit me for 10. Probably it's retaliation because I hit him with Giselle with that earlier turn. Am I feeling bad? No, of course not. Do I regret it? Maybe slightly. After you, Josh.
All right, on your end step, I'm going to flash in Itali. Primal Storm.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Wow, that was sweet.
Yes! Oh my gosh, awesome. I've been looking forward to seeing this card played ever since it was previewed. I mean, I would like it to be on my side of the battlefield, but you know what? I'll let it slide, Josh, because it's red.
Yeah, you have to care
Falcon
for
Ori is so awesome because of when I'm playing this card, I'm going to immediately untap with it, be able to swing, and trigger its ability right away. So I'm basically guaranteed to get some value off of it. I'm really excited. Let's see what I get. We'll go to combat.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm scared of all that open mana. Making Jimmy mad seems like a bad idea, so Kenji, attack you with Itali Primal Storm. So that triggers and everybody exile the top part of your library. Let's see what I get.
Assault Monolith. Okay. Unexpected results. Ice Feather 8.
Oh, that's cool.
Then Teferi's Puzzle Box. Okay, so I can cast any number of those. I think I'll cast all 4 of them. I mean, I don't know the odds. I'm not a mathematician or anything, but I hit 4 out of 4. So this couldn't have gone any better. And then, unexpected results. So I shuffle my library, reveal the top card.
Wait. So are you paying 1 for each of those for heuristic stuff?
Okay, I will pay 3, so Kenji, you can draw 1. And then, unexpected results. Alright, reveal. Junk Troller.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
So I will cast the Junk Troller. Sure, why not?
Are you gonna pay for heuristic study?
Stupid
Maybe hand me
study.
tissue.
You know what, Kenji? These are tough kind of you, because remember, this is still all before I'm taking 6 damage.
Oh yeah. Now go to damage.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Knockdown. It used to be at the top. It was at the bottom. It feels like all of our teaming up to sort of get in from that early lead and has really worked out. Yeah, that's all I can do. That's a pretty good turn. Go ahead.
Alright, so untap. Draw.
Is that interesting?
Trigger. I have 5 cards in my
I said
hand.
my
I'm
lips
going
are
to choose
chapped.
to zone Newmont. I want the other 4,
Like I can
but I still draw 5
boxes
cards.
stand
So
out.
Experience Puzzle Box is kind of annoying. I mean, I
Chapstick.
think it's good for me because I want to find one of my
One
rap effects or
chapstick?
something like that, but it doesn't let me
I
plan
wanna
which
push
this deck wants to do. I
It'll
will play Azorius Signals.
My lips feel
Then, with my remaining 7,
sticky or
I'll pass it
oily,
in.
like there's a layer of
Alright,
stuff
at the end
over
of
it,
your
which
turn, I
obviously
will
there
have
is.
Viva,
I
Nature's
don't still
Peril.
like that.
But this recipe only triggers every time
I don't
you
like
cast the
medicine
first
at
spell
all.
of yours on each turn.
I don't even like that Vicks
super important
vapor
because that just means Gabby can always be casting something on those turns and building a
It feels weird when you put it on
Pay 1
you.
extra for the heuristic study. And
Yeah.
it will trigger
It's all cold and shit. And it
revealing
smells
this out
weird.
backwards here. And I can tap that. So I'll get a forest on my deck and then pay 1 extra for heuristic study.
That's so mean.
I'll also cast Droga Chase Speaker instantly because of Viva.
Whoa, that was like instant board. She had 1 creature, now she's got 4 creatures.
And I will pay for heuristic study. Right, now untap. So on my upkeep, before my draw step, shuffling away my Crater Hulk, which is one of the best cards in my deck, feels pretty bad. So I feel like I might as well go for broke.
Oh, right. She has Crater Hook thinking that.
And now she can cast it at flash speed because of Yeva. I said not to forget about Crater Hook, but I forgot about Crater Hook.
I will flash in Crater Hook Behemoth.
Giving all of her creatures +5/+5 and trample.
Uh-oh. She might just give me one beam on the spot with that Crater Hook.
I will pay for a 6 buddy, and you don't get the draw. And then I'll trigger Roshmi. Come on, let's do this. Revealing Winding Canyon. So I guess I just put it in my hand, right? Yes. So now I'll draw for my turn. Teferi's Puzzle Box triggered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To the bottom. 1, 2, 3. And now deciding who I want to attack is really interesting because if I do tap out, I could just die on the swing back.
If she attacked all out of me, I could block and still live. I mean, it wouldn't be great. I wouldn't be happy about that. But I'm not just dead. Jimmy and Kenji, on the other hand, are dead to what she's done.
I have no mana. There's nothing I can do with my cards. I'm gonna have to try and sweet talk my way out of this.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You can attack me, right? You can bring me down as low as you want, but I can promise you a full turn where all I do is literally your bidding.
My bidding.
You don't kill me right now. We're at this point in the game now.
Okay, so what if I split it up? How about I don't take both of your rage at the same time?
Deal.
Alright, let's do it. This is a pretty good deal. I mean, I get to do my big flashy spell. I get to deal everybody some damage, and I won't die on the fast time. It's really nice. Alright, I'm gonna send Eva and Nissa at Jimmy.
Okay.
I'm gonna send Hook and speaker, and Josh, and I'll send Rashmi to Kenji.
Okay, so I am gonna just take 16 damage. I declare no loss.
Okay, I'm going to flash out Tree of Tradition. There's going to be way too much money. And I'm not going to pay for a 6 you can drop. So I'll block the hook with the tree, and I will not block the tree speaker.
Kenji? Alright, so I am not going to declare any blocks, but there is something you can do with 7 mana in this format.
Rift?
Cyclonic Rift.
I'm actually not happy about this because my board's in a pretty good position. I was not going to take very much damage. Jimmy was about to take 16, so I have no responses. So all our stuff gets bounced back to our hands, except for Kenji's. Because of a lot of stuff that's owned by you guys, it's actually going to go to your hands. So Basalt Monolith goes back to Kenji's hand, and Ice Feather Haven goes to Jimmy's hand.
Then my marks will leave the battlefield. I have to reveal them. So the first is Chroma, Angel of Fury. Second is the Sumi Chicken.
Can I insult surgery to all this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This isn't my turn, so I'm gonna have to discard so many cards. I will cast Tree Speaker and not pay an extra for Ristic Study.
Finally, Ristic Study, 3 mana, suspend 7, draw 7, and a Metal Study.
Alright, I have 10 cards in my hand, so I'm gonna discard down to 7. 1 Power Stone, Black Manta, and a Tackling Counterpart.
This turn just went downhill fast.
And it's your turn.
Alright, untap. Okay.
Animal is one of the best commanders I think to come back to the Cyclonic Rift because like
We're unpackaging.
you can just replay the normal cost and soon the engine will be going all over again.
Okay, I am going to play Solar and pay for Ristic Study.
Yeah, it's mittens.
Floating 1, pay for
Mittens
Ristic
is
Study.
lots of running around
One
and
and tap 3
And chasing.
and cast a Morph. And I'm on trigger, getting 1 counter on it.
And that's how they play.
And I'm not going to pay for Ristic Study. So, because I'm getting 1 mana, I can cost 1 life, so I'll play another, and I do pay the extra for that. Again, I'm on trigger, and I'll pass turn to you, Josh.
Alright, untap. Draw. I'm going to play without already paying for Ristic Study. Yeah, it feels bad to be redeploying stuff that you already had out on the battlefield, but what can you do? Then I will pass turn.
Alright. Oh man, this feels so much more comfortable now.
Yeah, you're back in.
Alright, I'll play 2 signets. I'll then cast Sun Titan. Gosh. Which triggers my Animal. Sun Titan triggers. And immediately, there's a card in my graveyard that costs 3. I'm gonna get back on stone.
Oh my gosh. So this is bad. This is really bad.
You see, what Kenji can do is put a big counter on his Sun Titan that protects it when he blows up the Oblivion Stone, and then he swings with the Sun Titan and brings the Oblivion Stone back into play.
We can do this over and over and over again, and none of us can do anything. This is impossible to rebuild when it's going to get all blown up next turn.
Man, this turnaround so fast.
Yeah, and you know what, Gabby? I'm gonna attack you for 3 with the Phantasmal or Animar.
Phantanamar.
I cannot do anything about this. I'll be taking it.
Ow. Kenji is once again the player to take down. This needs to be broken up.
Well, your move, ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, I will untap, and I will draw. I'm going to tap to the level up the Druidic Tree Speaker.
Once again, I don't do that much stuff on my turn. I have this even hand, which I'm planning on playing.
That's you.
I'm going to untap, go ahead and draw the trigger. Alright, I'm going to cast a Merfolk Leader. And once the trigger, up to 3. And I will pay for Ristic Study.
Well, that animal's looking beat up.
It's crazy fast, man. I will then cast Guardian Hulk.
Guardian Hulk is the perfect play into Oblivion Stone here because even if he blows the world up, I'm still going to get value off of it.
This card used to be banned, and then it was unbanned. That tells you something. The card is very good.
Kenji can draw, and I'll add a counter to Animar. And then, Kenji, I'm going to swing at you for 5 with Animar. No effects. Alright, get back. I'm at 12 commander damage from Animar now. Okay, alright. And I will pass the turn to you, Josh.
Alright, on end step, I'm going to flash into Fairy's Puzzle Box. So if you've been paying attention, you don't have certain cards in my hand, like Tree of Perdition, Jump Solar. I actually want to put them on the bottom of my library because they're cheaper to get out by activating Grenzo than they are to just cast. Okay, so I untap, I draw for turn, then to Fairy's Puzzle Box triggers, and I put 5 cards on the bottom of my library in any order.
officially pre-planning. I believe this is the correct order. Benzo strats. And then, top 5. Oh, yeah. And because of the Dow's Memory, and I didn't draw any kind of cool answer to what's about to happen, go ahead. Alright, end of your turn, I'm going to tap 4 and target my Sun Titan with Oblivion Stone, putting a fate counter on it.
Alright, well, here we go. This is what I was talking about. Protect the Sun Titan and get into the loop where it's just gonna Oblivion Stone over and over. I don't really have an answer to that. I hope somebody else does. I mean, why did we invite Kenji to the show? This is brutal.
I mean, he's our friend.
I just pissed somebody off. Sorry.
Keep fucking with my shit, we're gonna have problems.
Look, I realized I accidentally clicked it. I was trying to expand it, not do that. Sheesh. Sorry. I love you.
I need to put password on my TV or something.
Lock like this? How did you get out of it? What did you do? I really want to know. I need to know that right now.
Yeah, so make sure you go down to the comments below and write that down. And while you're down there, that's how you get cartoons.com/commands that are awesome sponsors of the show. Use that affiliate link if you want to buy yourself before you get started.
Let me turn my phone on in video.
Wonderful. Appreciate that. Yeah. Well, if you want to spice up your board a little bit, multiple products are a great way to go. In fact, they just came out with the new relic tokens. They're the sweet, hard, shiny plastic tokens. They actually go on.
Then I will play a more card for free. Triggering Animar up to 4.
There are 2 Animar decks on the table? Okay, so get me right. Kenji now has his very own Animar, he has his very own Cody Hulk, and now he has his very own Morph? Come on, dude, come up with your own deck.
So original, Kenji. You know you're supposed to build your own deck for this.
Okay, so Aurelia, the War Leader. Oh no.
So he's going to get 2 attack steps now. I hope he doesn't come at me. That's a lot of damage.
So I will respond to that. I don't really think I can let that really stick around for Kenji, so I'll have to practice what it's doing. And then I will have the draining roll.
Oh, sweet! Basically what it does is counters my spell. Aurelia costs 6, so it's a 7/7 flyer. So, feeling kind of stupid now, just casting out a 6-drop that I didn't need to instead of holding up more for Endostone. So you pay 1 for this.
I pay 7.
Animar's still going to trigger regardless. And then I guess I will just pass the turn.
On top, the puzzle box triggers. So this one is pretty tricky for me because Eva's so important to my game plan. So I either send Eva somewhere at the bottom of my deck and I don't really have a way to get her again, or I flash her in here and if Kenji ends up blowing up the world, I'm gonna lose the Eva anyway. Okay, so flashing Eva? I think it's better to have her in play just because she's so important to my game plan. So I just gonna flash her in right now and then shuffle the rest of my hand away. And now I'm gonna resolve the box. 1, 2. This puzzle box is horrible. I would have sent it back to the manufacturer. I have drawn all lands. I'm cultivating to get more lands and a reveal. Oh boy. I need boards. Oh, your boards are so scary. Alright, I'll have 4 to cast a cultivate, paying 1 extra to mix the money. And then I think I'm gonna force the issue, so draining well, catching you.
7 in the air?
Yeah.
I was hoping not to use the O-Stone this turn, but I can't really afford to take basically half my life total on just 1 attack. Stupid draining well, which stupidly stupid I didn't need to cast it into. Here we are. I gotta blow up the O-Stone. Yeah, alright, you're forcing the action, so I will tap 5 mana and attempt to activate my Oblivion Stone.
Okay, I thought I had a little more time, but it's totally fine because I have a plan. It is sweet. I have 1 response. Oh. I will flip my Morph, resolving the stupid shapeshifter, copying Brilliant Hulk.
Double Brilliant Hulk? So there's 3 Brilliant Hulks in play? None of them are mine?
This is so gross.
Okay, so
Everything blows up.
and then my Vixen Metamorph Brilliant Hulk is going to trigger. I'm going to get back my Sun Titan, which triggers, getting back Phantasmal Image, copying Sun Titan, which is then going to trigger, getting back Oblivion Stone.
Oh my gosh, the lock is back.
Again? How many times do we have to kill in this game still?
Alright, now my double Protean Hulks are going to trigger. You know it's better than one Protean Hulk now? 2 Protean Hulks. The first 3 cards I'm going to find are Inox Survivalist, Den Protector, and Stratus Dancer.
It's a little bit weird because morphs aren't good if they come into play face up like that. So I don't know what he's playing at.
Trust me, I know what I'm doing. And the second 2 cards I'm going to find are Birth of Paradise and Ixidron.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Now this is what I'm talking about. Ixidron is going to make everyone flip all of their creatures upside down, including Frank's troublesome Sunflames. And my morphs, which means now I can use them to their full potential.
So, Ixidron will trigger and flip every non-token creature upside down.
Really do. Those are the 2/2s now?
Yeah, these are 2/2s. Okay, untap and drop a turn.
First order of business, let's get rid of this O Stone for the billionth time.
Pay 2 mana, flip over the Inox Survivalist, targeting Oblivion Stone. I don't know what just happened this game. From having 2 Sun Titans and Oblivion Stone, I'm in a position where I have 2 2/2s. I'm going to combat Josh also 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
I mean, I have no blockers, and I haven't taken any combat damage this game, so... Still a lot of damage.
It's good. All of a sudden,
That was a big hit. That's pretty close now.
and then I'm going to tap 7 and play Tishana Voice of Thunder.
Oh, that's nice.
So he's going to draw...
I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh man, so Jimmy recovered really well from the board wipe with the 2 Protean Hulks, and now he's just putting the icing on the cake, refilling his hand. It feels like the game is starting to really turn in his direction here.
And I'll go ahead and pass turn.
So Jimmy is really creating a lot of value, and I gotta try and keep up. And the first thing I gotta do is create as much mana as possible. I'm gonna tap 1 for Soul Ring, I'm gonna tap 4, I'm gonna play Crypt Ghast, and then I'm gonna play Grenzo, X equal to 0. So now I have a bunch of lands that tap for 2 mana instead of 1, which means a lot of Grenzo activations. And because of the earlier Teferi's puzzle box, I know what's on the bottom of my deck.
I smell a tree. I smell a tree. It's very sappy.
And then I'm going to pay 1 mana, I'm going to play Spell Gelad Stylus. This card's pretty unique in that it does what I want to do, which is put cards onto the bottom of my library so I can reuse a card without having to figure out a way to destroy it somehow. It is sort of a combo synergy piece, and it's going to allow me to do some really cool stuff. Then I'll tap 2 because it's a swamp, and I'm going to activate Grenzo's ability. I'm going to put the bottom card of my library into my graveyard. It's a workhorse. It has power less than Grenzo. It comes in with 4 counters. Grenzo's ability costs 2. Workhorse can give me up to 4, so I'm actually getting ahead on mana here by doing this. So I would remove 3 counters, leaving it at 1. I'm floating 3 colorless mana, and then I'll activate the Stylus targeting the Workhorse, putting it on the bottom of my library.
This is nasty.
I'll use 2 of the mana to activate Grenzo, bringing out the Workhorse.
Alright, this is really cool, but Josh's deck is actually starting to do what it wants to do, right? It looks like the wheels are really turning.
Take down the 3, so I have 2 colors mana floating. I'll use the 2 mana to activate Grenzo. I'll put out the Jump Troller. This is really a setup turn so that maybe next turn or the turn after I can really kind of go off. So I just gotta cross my fingers that I can stay alive until then. Alright, that's all I'm gonna do. Go ahead, Teddy.
And now Josh dumps out his hand, goes off with Grenzo, does all these cute tricks. I'm sitting over here feeling terrible. Already, I'll play Newmont the Devastator for 8. My biggest issue right now is how many cards in my hand, and I cast Newmont for my turn, and just gotta say go. Go to Gabby.
Alrighty, I will untap and draw. Not the most exciting turn, but I will have 6 to finish off. So at this point, I feel like I am just obscenely behind in this game. I really hope that they just get distracted with each other so I can maybe give me some time to draw something good. That's it.
Alright, draw the turn. I will tap 3 and cast Thassa, God of the Sea.
This card is really strong right now because it's going to let me close the game off as quickly as possible. I don't care how many blockers you have, you're still going to take a lot of damage.
The thing is, Kenji, whose lands are you blowing up?
I'm pretty good, not yours. I mean, I'll answer for him, but
Probably just Gabby's.
I have nothing.
Okay, I won't go to combat. I'm going to turn Tishana sideways at Kenji, and then Gabby, I'm going to attack you with Ixidron and Inox Survivalist. And before blocks, I'm going to make Tishana unblockable. Gabby, do you have any bets?
I do, actually. I will crack this wooded foothold. With a life, I'm not really at a life total where I can be taking a ton of damage. I will tap 6 and repeal the Ixidron.
Ixodron's bounced in my hand.
It's an interesting situation here because repealing the Ixodron is good for Jimmy and it's good for me when he replays it, but it's definitely pretty bad for Josh and Kenji. And then trigger rush. So we're gonna flip, Waller. That actually can block and cannon. I will go ahead and cast my Waller. I will draw a card from repeal, and then I'm gonna move the block. Block survivalist with my Waller.
Okay, and then because you revealed an extra card in my hand, Tishan is now back to a 10-10. That does not feel good because I will drop to single digits. And I'm that much closer to that.
Wow, you're down to 5. That was some really betrayal right there.
Okay, I'm going to tap 1 and play Mana Vault, and then I'm going to recast Ixodron.
This is great. This shuts down Josh's engine, it flips over Commander's, and I get to reuse my morphs. I couldn't ask for a better situation right now.
Everything flips over.
Except for Tossa.
Remember how I was set up earlier and poised to have a really good turn coming up? Now I gotta somehow get my creature reflipped over before I can do that. This is a big setback.
And then I will go ahead and pass turn.
Okay, I will untap. Kenji, you wanna block my Grenza?
Happily. I'll block with my new mod.
So, Kenji and I make a deal. You're blocking my nondescript creature with your nondescript creature?
Correct.
Okay, big trade. I will put it in the command zone.
Me as well. Sure. This is just a fine trade. Let's do that. We get our commanders back to the command zone.
So we can recast them face up, so they can actually do the thing that we want them to do, okay? I will tap 6 mana, I will play Grenzo, X equal to 0. And luckily I have one tool available to me that will get around this whole, like, flipped over morph thing. Activate Telgelot Stylus, putting the Crypt Gas back on the bottom of my library. Pay 2 mana to activate Grenzo, so Crypt Gas comes into play.
Surprise.
So this sets me up to have a lot of mana at my disposal. Once again, I'm sort of poised to have a big turn in the future, but I gotta cross my fingers and hope I make it to the future. That's the turn.
All right. I'll pay 10 to it. No. Really?
Don't you have anything that does anything about all that?
No, I used it all. I have this. I have Crucible of Worlds with no lands in my graveyard.
It doesn't do anything.
This board just seems kind of useless on his board stage. He doesn't even have lands in his graveyard. That's weird. I don't get it.
He could cast Numa. We just traded generals. I thought so he could do that, so I guess he's got something.
I can't afford to let anything through at this point, and so I'm going to hold these 7 mana up at all times, no matter what. Pass the turn.
Untap. I'm gonna play an Alchemist's Refuge. All I care about are cards that make me play things at instant speed, so the Refuge is amazing. Did you block my commander?
Oh, if you attack me, I'll trade.
Alright. I will send this white card at you, Kenji.
Alright, I'll walk with this card here.
Sounds good. Send it back to the command zone. My board isn't looking very good here, but I drew something this turn that could single-handedly bring me back into this game. I'm going to try to find an opportunity to really make the most of this. Pass to you, Jimmy.
Okay, untap, upkeep, Tossa will trigger, scry, heal on top, draw step, lose life, with mana ball, do not return the turn. I think he's too much dead, but she's really dead. Can you want to strike a deal? Yes. Oh, you don't really have much to strike a deal with, unfortunately.
You have anything in your hand that's good?
Yes, I do.
Could it be used for good against my opponents? That's not you?
That entirely depends on your combat step.
Given I do not wipe you off the planet right now.
Then yes.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and for the combat, Josh, I'm going to swing you with Ixodron for 9, and I'm going to use 2 mana from Tossa to make it unblockable.
Yep, I cannot then block it. Go through 17. This is what I was worried about. I'm getting low enough now that Jimmy may be able to just make enough things unblockable to take me out all in one swing. That is not a position I want to be in.
And then we tap 4, and I'm going to cast Unthinking Bleb.
What the?
What is that? This card is going to generate me a lot of value through the Scry 2 every time I flip over a creature. And if there is a board wipe, I won't be as affected by it as a result. And then I'm going to pay 2 mana. I'm going to flip my Inox Survivalist back up. I'm going to target your Tele-G-Line Chalice.
I needed that card around. That was kind of my way out of this, like, put your cards upside down thing that keeps happening.
And then you get the +1/+1 counter. Unthinking Bleb's no trigger, so I'll scry 2.
Howdy. Flip on top.
Pass turn to you.
Okay, I'm going to activate Grenzo because of Quick Cast that creates 2 mana. Trigger Producer comes out.
Ooh, this is really interesting. Now Josh can mess with life totals, and this thing can do 11 damage to me immediately. It could be problematic in a little way.
Activate Grenzo again. It's a top. You only have 2 big sets. Activate again. These ones I don't know. And Herbor. Herbor goes to the graveyard. And one more. Ignition Team. How many lands do you have tapped?
9.
So it is a 22/22.
Alright, that's pretty big. Does that trap it?
No.
No.
Okay, I will untap. I will draw. And then I'm going to play Demonic Tutor. Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is a sign that Josh is definitely going to try and win here with this card, so I cannot let this happen.
I'm going to tap 2, flip over Strike Dancer, and then we'll counter the Demonic Tutor.
we know what Jimmy's face down creatures are because we saw them before he flipped them over. At the same time, that leaves the door open to Kenji's board wipe, so I'm trying to open the door to that possibility. Okay, I will go to combat. Yep. Jimmy, I will swing at you with the 22-22 ignition team.
I will block this morph. Okay, feels a bit nervous.
Then I am going to actually pass the turn.
Oh, alrighty then. I'll draw for my turn, and then I'll pay 3 for propaganda. Maybe that stops them from paying 2 mana for attacking me. I don't know. And then I will pass the turn to Gabby.
I'm gonna activate Alchemist Refuge.
Ooh. Whoa.
Cast Rashmi, Eternity's Crafter, an instant feat. I'm paying a big price because she's been back to the command zone a couple times, but I still really want to have her out there. Alright, I'll untap. Draw. I will play a Temple of the False God, and then I'll pass to Jimmy.
Here we go. Alright.
Is this death?
Let's untap. Faucet Strike, keep it on top, mana ball, take 1 damage on the draw step. I will tap 3 and play a morph. And then, how many cards are in that hand? 3. Fine. I'll cast Insight, targeting the Gabby. So I'll draw 5 cards.
God, it rebounds too.
At this point, the only thing I'm really worried about is a board wipe and something that's going to set me back a bunch. So I'm trying to sort of plan for the future ahead.
So Zeus lost of Seeking, and then I'm going to play Command Tower as well as a Rebound Drag, and then I'll cast your
Okay.
Continue.
You want to get anything?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
We're friends, right?
We're friends. Okay.
I'm going to target Kenji with 3 position. So Kenji, your life total goes to 13.
And the attribution to 05 now.
Correct.
Oh, this is bad. The next time that thing activates, someone's going to 5. And that person is definitely going to be me.
And I'm going to activate Grenzo. It's Murderous Red Cap. And it's got this and do 2 damage to that one.
Yep, this is everything coming at me now. And these are my precious blockers being taken out one by one.
Then activate Grenzo again. Heartstone. That goes into the bin. Activate again. It is Effort Call. There we go. I will target Ixodron.
Oh no, that's another one of my blockers down. Josh can now put in a 5 life, he turn all of his land into creatures and just turn his board sideways. Not like this.
I will respond to that. I will activate Alchemist Refuge, cast Wright of Replication, targeting Ixodron, and I will kick it.
So she is about to get 5 Ixodrons.
Oh wait, no.
So it's gonna trigger off me, so ba-ba-ba.
Forest is the hand. Okay, I'm going to tap 2 in response, and I will flip over Den Protector to get a +1/+1 counter on it. I will target Progino back to my hands.
It feels like every time something bad happens to me, it's actually still good for Jimmy.
And Unblinking Bled to trigger, and then describe to put both on top. So Josh, now you get to do stuff.
Okay, so to speed things up, I'm just going to activate Grenzo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Yep.
So the first one, Take a Peek, trigger. Second one, Sulfur Springs, trigger. Third one, Bolivia, trigger. Fourth one, Mountain, trigger. Fifth one, didn't get nothing. Alright, Kenji, 5 no responses.
And now I will put 5 copies of Ixodron into play.
Everything flips over.
This is awesome. This is going to put all of Josh's creatures, including his free position. Oh, man.
Once again, I had my engine going, and now all my creatures flip over, and they don't have any abilities anymore. Wow, the swings in this game. I thought I was climbing to the top of the hill, and now I just got knocked down to the bottom again.
But I'm feeling really good. I have 5 18/18s. All my opponents have a bunch of 2/2s. I feel like I'm back in this game.
Okay, now I will go to my turn. So we'll untap. How many cards are there?
I have 3,
5.
7.
Okay, we'll tap 5. So I'm going to play Sadistic Hypnotist. Oh, I actually kind of want my creatures to die, because that way maybe I can get them back onto the battlefield and they won't be face down anymore, they'll be face up. So this card is going to be pretty good. Well, I'm going to sap Grenzo to the Sadistic Hypnotist. And I'm going to have... Sorry, Gabby, I'll have you discard 2 cards. By taking cards out of Gabby's hand here, I'm actually taking cards out of Jimmy's hand because he has that reoccurring insight that's going to rebound next turn. And so he was going to draw 5 off Gabby, now he's only going to draw 3, so I kind of need 4 cards that way.
Whoa, push it in.
Then I'm going to sack the Murderous Red Cap. And Jimmy, I will make you discard 2 cards.
Alright.
The upside of sacrificing my face-down creatures is that it also lowers the power on Gabby's creatures. So every creature I have that I sack this Sadistic Hypnotist actually takes 5 power away from Gabby's board. And I'm scared that I might need buffers, so I'm just going to cast Grenzo for the 3rd time for 8 mana. mana 2/2. Is that good?
It's pretty good.
Cast turn.
Alright, untap. Draw. Ghostly Prism.
Cost 4 mana to attack now.
For each creature. I'm in bad shape, don't get me wrong, but I'm not in the worst shape. Jimmy and Josh basically have nothing but 2/2s. Plus, if Gabby decides to attack me with more than a few creatures, which she's going to need to do if she wants to kill me, then maybe Jimmy and Josh can take care of her, so we'll see. Go.
Alright, draw. This is a really interesting turn. I feel like if Henry has a board wipe on Yahweh points of issue, this is like a turn. Are you guys going to come after me after I attack with the creature?
But if he wraps, we won't have anything to come after you with.
But what if I attack him and then you get...
I won't come after you.
Alright, I will pay 4 for Ghostly Prison and Propaganda, and another 4 for another creature. And I will attack with 2 16/16s.
Okay. Go to blocks.
Yes.
Block 1.
Yes.
I've been holding this one trick, which it's not going to do as much as I want it to do, but it's going to let me survive in this position. That's all you can do. I'm going to Deflecting Palm the second one.
This is not what I was expecting from Kenji at all. I really still am so convinced that he has a wrath, but I mean, Deflecting Palm's pretty good here. Alright, so I guess I'll take 16.
You're going to take 16.
Ooh, that was painful. Another thing that's super unfortunate about this is that being at such a low life total, I can't any longer just spend along my team and try to kill somebody out. I need to have a lot of blockers. And I am done in the happy.
Okay, untap. Recurring Insight will be cast again. I'll try to you, Gabby. Sure. I'll draw 3 cards. And then I will not pay for the mana ball. So I will my draw step and drop again. Okay, we tap 7 mana and cast then the card Resurgence.
Grab this card, do this and that, double mana and card draw. We gotta do something right now because that's the one that will win the game for Jimmy.
And tap 2 and play 2 Dimension and 2 and I will draw for the card Resurgence.
It honestly looks like Jimmy's setting up to win here. He has infinite mana and he has so many cards that draw him more cards. This is looking bad.
That's true. Wow, focus on tapping with Renzo. To feel like.
I mean, there's happened a few times before. It feels like Ichiban's gonna come out again. And then, on the top 5, I want to play Mind Moil. But I have 1 card in there, so. My biggest problem right now is I just don't have a lot of cards in my hand. I haven't made any card draw spells. I don't know what's on the bottom of my library. I have to stack it for Renzo. So I'm just kind of like shooting in the dark. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm going to have to get really lucky. Yep, I'm going to pass the turn.
Untap. Draw. So I'll play Everflowing Chalice for 3. Gabby, Josh, and Jimmy have all noticed what I want them to notice. I'm leaving all this mana untapped. I'm threatening something. Go.
Alright, so this turn, I'm just going to try to attack Kenji again. If he has that wrath, he's going to be forced to use it now. I'm going to try to... Do you have blockers?
I have no creatures.
Yeah, what life?
13.
Alright. I'm going to pay 4 for Ghostly Prison and Propaganda, and then Lunax to John Tiger.
They're currently 14s.
They're currently 14.
Alright, no effects.
Oh, for the block.
For the damage?
Okay.
He didn't have it. He was just bluffing.
You know what they say about bluffs? Works every time. No, it doesn't.
Oh, my goodness. Then there was 3.
Go ahead.
On your end step, Gabby, I'm going to tap for 2 blue. I'm going to play Flash. Oh, and he has the Protean Hulk in his hand. And I'm going to target Protean Hulk with Flash. I'm not going to pay the mana cost, so it will immediately become sacked. I'm going to get Furferos and Void Mage Prodigy.
Furferos is really good in this board state because of Zendikar Resurgent. If I can just draw into enough creatures in a row, then I'm going to be able to machine gun everyone down the table and be the last one standing. And then I'm just going to go ahead and untap. Mana Vault trigger, I'm going to tap 4 and untap it. And then I'll draw a card for the turn. I have 1 goal this turn. Play enough creatures to kill everyone at the table with Furferos. So I have to cast 9 creatures to win.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll tap 4, floating 1, and I'll tap Eternal Witness. I'm going to target 0 Menagerie.
Okay, Purple trigger, we both take 2 damage?
Yes. This one triggers any card Resurgent. I'll draw a card. I have floating 1 mana. I'll tap another 2 to cast a Morph. Triggers any card Resurgent and Furferos. Everyone take 2 damage. Draw a card.
Really, it's just a question of how many creatures can Jimmy play this turn. So we gotta hope that a lot of the cards he draws are lands or non-creatures, so that eventually he runs out of gas and just can't quite get there as far as damage from Purpurus.
And then cast Black Climber. Trigger trigger. Everyone take 2 damage. Draw a card.
Please just run out of gas. Please, Jimmy.
I will then cast the 0 Menagerie. Trigger trigger. Everyone take 2 damage.
This is looking bad. He still has so much mana. He has like 7 cards in hand.
And then I'll play Soul of the Harvest. Trigger trigger.
Okay, well, if I'm going to have any hope that he doesn't draw enough creatures to kill me this turn, I got to at least try and get rid of that.
In response to these triggers, I will activate Renzo. It's Jaya Ballard. Doesn't do a lot right now. I'll activate Renzo again, revealing Talisman of Indulgence goes to my bin. I will activate again, revealing Terminates Graveyard. And one more activation, Hell's Caretaker. Ooh, that's a good one. Except for I can't activate right now, but he's dead. None of that mattered.
Alright, everyone takes 2 damage?
Yeah.
Okay. I just need one more creature to kill Gabby, and I have none more left in my hand. But fortunately, there's one trick I can play. I'm going to flip over Protector, and then get Birds of Paradise. There's some special counter. I'll cast the Birds of Paradise. Trigger. Gabby.
Yeah, you can't do anything about this. And I am dead.
And then I'll draw a card for Xanthar Resurgent, and I'll draw a card for Soul of the Harvest.
I'm getting so low on life here. I'm just hoping I get one more turn, maybe pull something out and give me a chance to steal this game.
I'll cast Willbender off the top of my library.
Trigger.
Take 2 damage.
I'll take 2 from my 3.
Draw 2 cards. And that's all the creatures I've got. I can't quite finish Josh off. Oh, this is so bad. What if he was able to take the win? I will pass turn to you, Josh.
Really?
I can't do anything. I can't cast anything else.
Alright, that's crazy. But I'll untap.
He's got 1 billion creatures. I'm at 3 life, but you're saying there's a chance.
On my upkeep, I will activate Hell's Caretaker. I'll sacrifice Hell's Caretaker, and I'll get Olivia Voldaren from the graveyard to the battlefield.
Okay, I guess he can steal one of my creatures, but that's going to cost him a ton of mana.
Then tap 2 and play a Fire Diamond.
What was that?
It's just a mana rock, but it'll trigger Mind Moil. So I'll put my 1 card on the bottom of my library and draw a card.
This is cute.
I may as well activate Renzo and just see what comes off the bottom of my deck, and maybe I can find something.
Okay, activate Renzo. One card my library. Smoldering March. Activate Renzo again. Viserys here.
This is one of the best cards in the deck, and it's really going to allow me to not only stack the bottom of my library, but also filter past the cards on the top, so that maybe I can find something to get me out of this mess.
So I'm going to sacrifice the junk controller, the Scry one. Put it on the bottom. It's interesting, kind of. I'll pay 2, activate Renzo. I'll reveal Anger. Anger comes out on the battlefield. I'll stack Anger to Viserys here.
This one's interesting because now my creatures have haste. If I can get enough creatures into play, it opens up the possibilities here.
Scry one. That's value. Put it on the bottom.
I'm not sure exactly what he's looking for, but he's going through a lot of cards.
I'll sack whatever this guy is. Necrotal. Free of Perdition. Cryptcast. Put it on the bottom. Activate Renzo. I'll bring Shopkey, Lord of Luxury out.
This is also 4.
Yeah, top 4 cards. One of them face down. Come on, anything. Give me something.
Okay, I'm going to sacrifice the Workhorse, the Sadistic Hypnotist. I big 24, Scry, bottom.
Okay, he's starting to run out of mana and creatures to sacrifice here, so I feel like I'm a little bit safer than I was before.
Sacrifice Brenda to the Sheriff here. Scry one, put it on the bottom.
Okay, well, it was a valiant effort, but I think the writing's on the wall.
I'll pass it to you, I'll let you explain.
I mean, maybe Jimmy would just forget to attack and not play any creatures to purpose of each other.
Okay, I'll leave it. I'll leave it with your face.
He threw a mystical dragon bolt at me? Okay.
Welcome to the Upside Down, boys and girls. Yeah.
So overall, that puppy game was really, really fun. You know, I had that really explosive start.
It looked like he was going to have a lock on it in the early game. Josh went off with his value engine. Gabby all of a sudden had like 90 power on the table at one point, and then Jimmy just outvalued us and managed to get there with the crazy Animar synergy.
Honestly, I could have seen that game playing out any number of ways differently, just depending on how those cards are drawn.
Everybody's decks were awesome. I really like that everybody got played. I think we cast every commander like minimum 2 times.
I love commander games like that, where they're really swinging. Everybody kind of has their shot, has their moments. Gabby and Kenji are really more known for limited play. You can tell because they're very tight players. But I was super impressed with their ability to sort of mix it up in the political arena.
There's that interaction with multiple people a lot of times that you're not going to get in any other type of Magic game. You get to bargain, you get to bluff, you get to make these little alliances and deals.
I really like that commander. We just get to have these really wacky interactive things and just really wild games.
episode. Congratulations
To me.
Congratulations to Jimmy. It's true.
But also,
I can't front.
congratulations to you, the viewer, because this is your chance to win a lot of product. That's right. Big thanks to Ultra Pro, sponsor of the show, for providing all of the playmats, awesome relic tokens, card sleeves, and gaming accessories that we get to ship to you, winners of the Game Nights giveaways.
Yeah, we even have the playmats we used in the episode all signed by all 4 of the players from this episode. So, again, if you want to win that stuff, how do we enter, Jimmy?
Very simple. Go onto Facebook or Twitter. If you're on Facebook, find our post about this episode. Click share to your public profile. And if you're on Twitter, just write out a tweet linking the episode and using the hashtag GameNight. That's all you have to do to enter. So far, we've given away almost 100 prizes across the world. So that's right. Even if you're international, you can enter the competition.
And again, as always, we will be announcing the winners exactly 1 week from the release of this video. We'll be announcing on Facebook and Twitter, since that's where you have to go to enter. So, good luck, everybody.
And have fun.
See you next time.
New subscriber.
New subscriber.
New subscriber.
Get the sleeve.
Get the sleeve.
Fuck up.
What?
What? You didn't hear all that? Cussing them out. They're making these weird noises, so I said, shut the fuck up. Okay.
How'd that go, man?
I was like, shut the fuck up. Makes sense.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Game Nights.
So why didn't the Japanese use shields? The answer is, they actually did use shields. More than top history would have you believe. The real history is more complicated. It involved blocking bullets with frickin' bamboo. Way back in ancient Japan, they did use shields. Chinese records mention the Japanese using handheld shields dating back back to at least the 200s, and the 300s to 500s saw plenty of hot shield-on-shield action. They were mostly rectangular, about 2 or 3 times longer than they were wide, usually made by coating a few layers of plastic, but we do see some examples of iron shields around this time. And then the soldiers got tired of holding their shields and decided to want walls that could move instead. Around the Nara period, when Japan was flirting with having a centralized state and a national army, we see widespread use of shields that were bigger and could stand by themselves. Now, we gotta differentiate between the handheld shields and the stationary standing shields. The handheld variety, the Japanese lost interest in, but the freestanding type saw action throughout medieval Japan. These things were around eye-level height, and they had a folding pole on the back for letting them stand by themselves. You could jam the pole into the ground, or use your foot to anchor it. Long poles are useful when you put in many different conditions. Shields made of one wooden board were ideal, but usually there were 2 or 3 planks joined together, sometimes even 4. These were not lacquered, but by the late Kamakura period, it became hip to paint the crest of your clan on the front, because marketing. These freestanding shields acted like portable walls. Just line them up side by side, and you had a wall to protect your archers. If the archers needed to move elsewhere, they just picked up the shield and repositioned. Don't underestimate a big piece of wood, I always say. When running away, they could put the shields on their backs to protect against arrows. They also hung these shields on the sides of boats, and even used them as ladders or benches. But when guns entered the battlefield, bullets ripped right through the wood. Making the shields out of iron helped, but there were cheaper, more bamboo-y options. Sometimes they put in front of the shield wall a row of wet straw. At first you're like, that's dumb, but they did deflect, or at least slow down the bullets. Showing no respect to pandas, they also rolled up bamboo stalks in bundles and used those in place of shields. Apparently they worked. Oh, bamboo, what can you do? They even used bamboo bundles in these moving platforms of death, where archers and riflemen rained down destruction behind cover, while other men pushed them about. The old handheld shield became uncommon, probably due to the weapons the Japanese used. Let's talk about the samurai, and afterwards the ordinary foot soldiers. Don't forget about them. By the 800s, the main warriors on the battlefield were not men on foot, but mounted archers, like the Mongols. As the warrior class arose in Japan, they fought in small, skilled units, not vast armies. This became the reality of war in Japan for a long time. For this warrior class, these samurai, their main weapon was not the sword, but the bow. Swords were actually piss-poor weapons on the battlefield. Aside from a bow, the next best weapon was some kind of pole arm, like a naginata, which makes sense because swords were too short to use on horseback. You can think of a sword like a pistol for the modern soldier. Ideally, you'd be using your rifle. The pistol is the backup weapon. If you're forced to use your pistol, you're probably in a bad situation. For a samurai, when he had to draw his sword, it probably meant he fell off his horse. A bad situation. So the bow was the dominant, iconic samurai weapon in early medieval Japan. Firing a bow on horseback at Pokemon is hard enough. Imagine holding this slab of iron at the same time. No, they needed protection of the non-handheld variety, and this came in the form of body armor. Japanese armor optimized for riding a horse and firing a bow. There were actually little tweaks to help with bow usage, like smooth leather straps in strategic places so that the bowstring did not get caught in the armor. Instead of hand shields, they had shoulder armor called osore. If you've ever seen Japanese armor, you'd know it's very recognizable. That's because of how it's put together. Let me show you. They used these little plates, a few centimeters in length, made of rawhide or iron. They were holey, like they had a bunch of holes in them. And these hard-working little guys joined together to form armor that was flexible and effective. So, let's go through how an armorer, we'll call her Erin M, would use these plates of awesome. Armorer Erin starts by overlapping these plates so their holes lined up. Then she ties them together with leather or cords. She coats this bottom part with lacquer, which makes it a single bigger plate and also protects it from the elements. She creates a few more bigger plates and ties them in a series so that they hang downwards, making a bigger plate. There were a bunch of different patterns she could have used to put plates together, but this was basically how they made armor, including the crossbody. Also, they basically took the place of handheld shields. They were shields on your shoulders. They were flexible and fastened to a samurai's body armor in a way that allowed him to move them in front to block incoming arrows. But when he drew a bow, the Osode fell back out of the way. The samurai's arms have full range of motion for firing arrows. Now, what about foot soldiers? Well, you may be surprised. They didn't have the full body armor of samurai, so you would think shields would have offered good protection. The thing is, they had to fight both mounted warriors and other foot soldiers. A sword is terrible for this. It's too short for both. They mostly use two-handed weapons, like bows, and later on arquebuses. Hard to use handheld shields. Early on in Japanese history, troop numbers were not high enough to use formations with shields that were effective for European armies like the Romans. That's not to say they stopped using handheld shields, though it was uncommon, and we do have evidence that they were used from time to time throughout many of Japan. They were around the size of poultry. Here's an illustration that describes how to use such a shield to block pistol shots. Here's another shield that has a pretty cool design, looking like a male skirt. It has a view ports and a place to put a camera, which is probably used when defending attacks at night. The Edo period saw the appearance of these shields that were only a bit bigger than Japan and were used to protect the sword hand while holding sword. But all in all, handheld shields were not used often. Early medieval warfare in Japan consisted of small units where two-handed weapons were paid. For foot soldiers early on, effective formations that made use of handheld shields did not form because they just didn't have troops. So the Japanese leveled up their armor technology. By the time of the Sengoku period, we did see massive troop numbers that might have made formations with shields effective. Shields had already fallen out of favor. There wasn't a strong motivation to use shields, especially in army or swordplay. Everyone was accustomed to seeing the weapons. If I could describe in one sentence the life of an upper-class woman in the Heian period, it would be extreme boredom, interrupted by casual cheating. Lots of casual cheating. I'm talking about Heian women, marriage, and promiscuity in the next few videos, so hit subscribe and the bell to follow along. When I think of Heian women, I picture Scarlett Johansson stuck behind Mars. Let's be clear, we're talking about aristocratic women, upper-class women in the Heian court. Peasant women lived differently, more charmingly, with additional instruments. The life of an upper-class woman is a life of contradictions. She had more freedom than in most other times in Japanese history, but couldn't even leave the house. She was considered both inferior to men and more valuable. Okay, number one. Upper-class women had lives of luxury, high status, but at the same time they had almost no freedom to move about. It was like they were under house arrest. Not literally, of course. The women mostly stayed at home. You see, a woman was expected to be hidden from outside men. The only men she saw were her husband. Women had private
you look for that show?
Stayed concealed behind screens. The only time women ventured outside to be social was to attend the occasional festival or to visit a temple. Their experience with social interaction was like my experience. It happened rarely.
I wasn't sure if you did or not.
They did have social interactions, so most of it not.
But you just had the keys.
Actual talking with them was done with her parents, husband, so that's socializing with other people was mostly done through a brush. She would take a brush and hook people with Morse code to communicate. Courts ladies wrote letters and poems to communicate outside their home bubble. Sometimes they would get male visitors, joyous occasions, I'm sure. But even in those cases, they'd be behind a screen they'd speak with the visitor through notes or through a female servant. I know, right? Imagine talking to people not by talking, but by writing only. What a world we're in. Okay, so women didn't get to do much socializing, but they were rich. They lived in big houses. There's always stuff to do around the house, right? At least they weren't totally bored. No, they were totally bored. These were a proper lady who did housework. She had proper servants for that. Servants also took care of their children. So put yourself in her shoes, right? They're stuck at home. There's no internet, there's no gadgets, no one to talk to. How would you do all day? Actually, people are conference call. Curious. The boredom, nothing changed. Women were going to sit for hours just staring outside. yearning for a visitor or a letter or a poem to arrive from whoever they were pen pals with. One woman wrote in a diary an entry that I absolutely love. 17th day of the month. There is a slow drizzle. A direction to the neighbor's market. It's so unexpected. No visitors. The world seems so green. Cheers, friends. Women tried different rich people ways to help. Playing Go, calligraphy, music, and so on. But most famously, they wrote a lot. And thank the old gods and the new for that, because their writings opened the paper door and allowed us to peer into the halls of the Aeon Court. At the same time, we gotta be careful because most of what we know about Aeon women is from writings of distinguished women. These were people of high prestige. They wrote from a more privileged perspective than their peers. So, women absolutely crushed men in the literature department. Women made the Japanese written language popular in Japan. Contrary to most cultures, famous Heian authors were almost all women. Why? There's some debate on this. It could be because men were expected to write seriously, while women could be more creative. Men were in government. They wrote in Chinese because that was the language of official office. Women were not allowed in government, so they didn't learn Chinese. Instead, they wrote in the simpler, brand new Japanese language of hiragana. Now, in truth, many women did know Chinese, they just pretended not to. It was women who led the spread of the Japanese script, not just men. While men were controlled women wrote all kinds of things. Poems, fiction, non-fiction. Thanks to women with access to time, new Japanese styles of writing poetry emerged, pushing aside male Chinese styles. There were even male authors who pretended to be female so they could write something like fine Number 2, Heian women were considered both inferior and more valuable than men. Chinese Confucian teachings and Chinese Buddhist teachings at the time were they hammered home the idea that women were inferior. Buddhist teaching claimed that a woman had to reincarnate into a man before ascending higher in the enlightenment. Women were banned from marriage. At the same time, they were considered more valuable than men because of marriage partners. The Fujiwara claims that they were considered their daughters into the imperial family and secured 200 years of control over the government. Inheritance of property usually went to women over men, giving them freedom. Yeah, they couldn't leave their house, but they had it pretty good. Violence against women was prohibited. A woman could climb the social ladder much faster than men. The low-born girls in the provinces could catch the eyes of big shots and happened to get married in rooms and be home with the prince. I have a better chance. A wife didn't actually join her husband's plan. She kept her own plan. Upon death, was buried among her own clan members. Now, up to this point, we haven't talked about the most exciting aspects of life, relationships, marriage, and cheating. Like today, good fashion attracted guys, and the Heian period had unimaginable fashion sense. White skin was considered attractive to women. Waist powder makes their faces and necks feel white. Funny enough, white teeth was not considered attractive. Women were yellow against that white skin, so women who blackened their teeth they plucked their eyebrows, replacing them with painted eye blushes. Long, straight hair was beautiful, but let that hair go, neither in some cases. A woman took care in coordinating the color of her outfit, putting together the right ensemble to reflect her personality. Men couldn't look upon women's faces, so they had to gauge women by their outfits, their sleeves, sleeve, which was in a life of crippling boredom, relationships with men were exhilarating. Marriage was obviously important to women to marry someone of high status, but the most common relationship between men and women was not marriage. It was extramarital affairs. Heian men and women sex with people outside their marriage all the time. It was expected. There was a time when sexual freedom was a virgin was not good. In fact, people were suspicious of virgins. They thought a girl who remained a virgin for too long was possessed by an evil spirit. We'll dive into marriages and bedroom hanky-panky in the next couple of videos. It'll be interesting, I promise. So don't forget to like the video and click subscribe and the bell and share the video around. So there's a special guy I want to thank. His name is Tercero. He's a viewer and he actually volunteered his time to do the research for this video and the coming videos about AI. Also, shout out to this week's new patron, Leanne, Isaac Subaka, Louis Gary, John Pompino, and you. Alright, much love, guys. Spread the knowledge. It's from the tale of Genji, the famous novel of the main character, Genji, without warning, he picks her up, literally, rushes her to his private room. She's all literally, he sets her down, and she's pregnant. Genji requests that she stay with him, but she flat out says no. Genji doesn't quit. Denies the She denies him again and again, really with different strategies and arguments. But after a while, she relents, and they sleep together. Alright, that's what now, to us, what Genji did was kidnapping, sexual harassment, sexual assault, and maybe even rape. Some scholars claim that Winnipeg was wrong, even by Heian standards, but other scholars disagree, saying that Genji's behavior was A-OK by Heian standards, and that they killed each other. I'm leaning towards this latter group. Remember that the tale of Genji was written by Murasaki Shigeru, a female writer. The main character, Genji, is portrayed as the good guy throughout the story, someone to root for. He's the hero. It's weird that she would make him good in everything else, but a monster to women. There's gotta be another explanation. And there is. And you know, it may be the most mind-blowing thing I've learned so far while researching Heian culture. Heian love was different. So you're not done. You know that what a society finds physically attractive changes. Turns out, what we find emotionally attractive also changes and differs across cultures. Like, if I asked you what you find attractive in a partner beside my face, you may bring up positive qualities like intelligence, ambition, or confidence. For the Heian upper class, they would say something you wouldn't expect. Weakness. For us, at least in the West, love is usually tied to the emotions of happiness and admiration. We fall in love because they has positive qualities that we admire, like beauty or intelligence, or the ability to recite the words of all the great houses of Westeros. But people in the Heian courts usually tied love to the emotion of pity. They often fell in love because Heian Bay has some negative qualities that made them seem pathetic. Yeah, go ahead, pick up your brain pieces. A typical seduction technique was to show that you were vulnerable, weak, powerless, so that the other person would feel pity or compassion. It made the other person want to protect you and nurture you, and that's for example, there was a story where a man fell in love with a woman mainly because he was suffering under an evil stepmother, and he just wanted to protect her. This is true for men and women, by the way. A man would show off his weakness by shedding tears when he dropped his fan. This idea of love wasn't unique to the Chinese ideas, weakness in women, as well as desire. There was also some research in the 90s which implied that the Chinese actually placed pity under the category of love. I would love to hear from Chinese people.
Look like it's gonna get later, actually. Look like we're gonna get raped.
So, how does this make Genji did okay? Well, he was playing what I call the Heian seduction game, and knowing their idea of love, he probably guessed that the seduction game was
really would rob them.
first phase, right? Aggression. The man initiated the encounter using a small amount of aggression. Genji's small amount of aggression was, yes, him forcefully beating up the woman and taking her into a private room. This act made the powerlessness real for the woman, giving her a need for safety. It gave the man the opportunity to protect her from their distress in the first place, and the thought of their helplessness turned them off. Second phase, persuasion. In this stage, the physical aggression disappeared. They didn't believe in forcing themselves on women. Instead, the man tried to persuade her to sleep with him, using words. It became a battle of wits. The lady was socially expected to deny his advancing. If she liked him, she would offer token resistance. She didn't want to seem easy. Now, their idea of token resistance didn't mean half-hearted wink-wink resistance. No, their token resistance would have probably seemed to us like resistance, straight-up denial. No did not mean seduction game. So how did a man plead his case? He'd usually try to guilt her into it, or pity her. He'd say something romantic, like, oh, I would die. You don't want me to die. Okay, so it's persistent. And if the woman wasn't interested, she had to one, she would keep saying no, but it would get tedious. He expected it. She had to really stick to the guns to get through the guy's big head. I want to point out that men did believe that it was wrong to coerce a woman into sex. But they didn't see this persuasion stage as coercion. It was just a part of the game. Two, a better strategy is to be indifferent, to become passive, meaning don't respond. Now this is risky. If she made it seem like she was frozen with fear, it would have been worse than strategy one. Weakness was attractive. It might have ignited the fire of desire in the man. It might have been passive and confident in a visible object. It was a good way to say that. Finally, third phase, success. Third phase is when she conceded to his desires. Yeah, this is the last phase, but I chose the wrong analogy. But you see, women actually had the final decision eventually. Although it's fair to say the decision was susceptible to closure. Going back to our story in the beginning, the next morning, after Genji's bed is she wakes up and reflects on the previous night. She doesn't regret it. Instead, she laments that she may not get to meet Genji again. This shows us that her denial of the previous night was part of the game. It was token denial instead of actual denial. Wait, do you hear that? The sound of one of my videos blowing up the past week. I'm pretty stoked. You never wrong on YouTube. Hi, new person. Stay a while and binge watch the other videos. I hope you like them. 2 more Emperor patrons ascended the throne this week. All hail Rika and Zack. At some point, we're going to do a battle royale or something. Also, thank you to the new patrons, Amr Kawar, Richard Moore, we need more people like him, Robert Palachi, and Logan Stevens, who is obviously Wolverine. Alright, much love and spread the knowledge. Hey, did you know that the Japanese in the Heian period had a whole dating ritual with pics and poems and secret...
How do you think America would have worked if America did it based off of how the Japanese did it?
The whole process started off with a matchmaker.
I understand, but what if? With the whole dating thing.
Know of a lady who would be a good candidate. It's weird to us, but they were pretty lax about marriage between relatives. The only absolutely forbidden, taboo, what the hell is wrong with you, marriages were between a parent and child and between brother and sister. There was a gray area which was between step-parent and stepchild. That was seen as wrong. You know what? Sometimes love finds a way, and people did it anyways. Such couples encountered weird looks, but did not encounter moms with pitchforks. Anything else was fair game. Uncles, aunts, nephews, cousins, all perfectly fine. Alright, now both families had to look at all kinds of factors to determine if the two were a good match. What was not a factor was the opinion of the couple. It was very much an arranged marriage for political, economic, or social gain. The woman's family wanted a good husband who had good connections that would allow him to rise the ranks in court, preferably a husband who already had a high rank. The man's family wanted a sugar mama, a wife from a family that had enough wealth and resources to support him in his government career. Daughters actually became more valuable than sons. You could marry your daughter up into a family of much higher status. It was harder for your sons to marry up because the bride's family usually wanted someone of a higher status than the status loser. The Fujiwara famously married their daughters into imperial families, allowing them control over the man's court. Also, children were raised in the wife's household, giving the wife's family significant control over the next generation. Daughters of powerful clans had a bunch of men chasing after them. A common trope in Heian literature was the wife battle, where multiple men would compete for a woman's hand in marriage. You can see this in the Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. Go watch it. Okay, after all the discussion and negotiation with each family's matchmaker, the matchmaker was sent to the aggressive and the dating ritual would commence. The whole process consisted of an initiation and 3 minutes. So let's paint the picture. Our dashing character is Bob, and our lovely lady is Mina. Babunaga kicks off the proceedings by writing Minamoto a poem with 31 syllables of a tonka. He writes something romantic like, I can't stop thinking about the shape of your sleeves. Were it up to me, I would crawl deep inside them. After experiencing that romantic good Minamoto writes a response form. In fact, this is more common for another member of her family to write to the phone. Someone who really did. This response form is no joke. Nowadays, we obsess over the legal of a smile with a link. It is just a friendly smile. Usually, I want you to hold me down. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Well, back in the day, it was the same probes every part of that letter. Every detail is important. Is the paper of good quality? The family must be rich. Is her calligraphy ugly? She must be an ugly person. Is the poem mind-blowing? She must not mind. He goes through every inch of that letter, gathering clues about the mystery girl. If Bakunaga finds something unspeakable, like an eating smudge, it goes to her and finds. Oh, that's pretty good. So the look plan is secretly meets at her place at night. It's always the first visit to the lake. Now, about these secret business, the Williams family is not supposed to know about them, but in fact,
He just got whipped.
they just deployed to the waiter and
Across the coast.
they ignored the man creeping around their home while looking directly at him. So the first night, Bakunaga creeps into Minamoto's home and they sleep together. Oh, I guess they talk too. He leaves early the next morning, as is customary. What happens next is critical. Minamoto and her family wait in anticipation, and then let out a sigh when a messenger comes with the next morning letter from home. The letter contains the usual lovey-dovey stuff, but the fact that it exists leads game on, as night went well. Minamoto's family even rewards the messenger with gifts and drinks, and Minamoto replies with her own love letter. The next night, Bakunaga visits again for a second experiment.
Messenger gets all excited.
And leaves, much like the first night. More letters. On the third and most important night, Minamoto's family makes these rice cakes for Miyako Mochi, who's stuck in the room. People in the Heian got married without a big wedding or any exclusive paperwork. The couple was married with their friends and family recognized them as married. That's it. The couple did go through two small rituals, though. The rice cakes were to honor the Shinto who were husband and wife, also brother and sister. Eating the cakes united the couple religiously, and the next morning the man could stay with the lady without worrying. The second ritual was eating with the wife's family. Minamoto's family organizes a small feast and invites Bakunaga and a few of his friends over. They don't invite Babunaga's parents. This occasion does not involve them. The public feast is
No parents, just
meets his wife's family. And with that, the happy couple is officially married, and you can see her openly. No more creeping adults. Now, if you saw the last video about the Heian production game, you may be wondering where that fits into this dating process, because that is a lot different. Well, it's the difference between a one-night stand and dating. The former was for fun times, the latter was for a serious relationship that may lead to marriage. Of course, like today, there was overlap between the two. Started out as fun times could lead to something more serious. Life was over. Actually, that was how a lot of secondary marriages happened. They grew from something less serious.
Hey, Mark.
Nah,
Want me to play with you?
I don't know. I think I might want to start my free trial.
Okay.
Nah. I don't know.